Would you rather be Colorado or would you rather be Nebraska?
Well, I would never rather be Nebraska. Let's be honest here. Nebraska, it's a whole different story. I don't know that football program is ever coming back to relevance. Let's talk about 29-0, Dirk. Usually, when you hold a 29-0 halftime lead, you're probably going to win the game. Unless you're the San Diego or Los Angeles Chargers in the postseason, in which case they'll somehow manage to do it. Well, the Colorado Buffaloes have done this as well.
At 4 possessions, maybe this signals to coaches, hey, maybe we should change up our offense in the second half and be able to run the damn ball. Because otherwise, how many possessions are you going to give up to give that many points up in the second half?
You know, it is just such a strange situation, Dirk, because at halftime, I was having a conversation, and basically the conversation was, wow, CU looks so good. Maybe Prime is for real. This program is turning around more quickly than everyone expected. End of the game comes around, and that conversation narrative completely reverses, and it took me back to where I was really a couple of weeks ago when they got blown out at Oregon, which is, I don't know that this team wins more than 4 or 5 games this year. They may not win another game.
It's going to be interesting to see if they can get to be bowl eligible, right? They need 2 more wins to do that. You know, technically, if they got their 5th win, I think they sneak their way into a bowl just based off of notoriety.
Right.
But that aside does not take away the actual success that's happening in Colorado. Regardless of what happens, they could lose out the rest of the season, and I would consider what Deion Sanders has done in Colorado to be a dramatic success. Not traumatic. A dramatic success.
Well, it depends. It is traumatic for some people. There was that guy who was crying after the game on national television, although I have a feeling he had wagered a little bit of money on this.
But I think a lot of this is just expectations and overhyping. Right now, give this program a couple years. I think that they very well could be contending for national championships in a couple years. Now, to think that this was going to turn around and that the success of this program should all be based off of a single season, especially the first season making it up into, FBS football, is that fair? I don't think that's fair whatsoever. And also, just what Deion's done alone in the offseason, in the 9 months he's been at Colorado, he's fundamentally changed the recruiting process. How can you not look at this and say, Colorado's a success? I mean, the fact that Colorado's coming out of my mouth in a segment, that's a tremendous success for the program.
It is. However, I don't know if I buy the national championship contender sweepstakes yet or ever. And I'll tell you, it's because CU has made incredible leaps, but we're still in see it when we believe it mode. CU still right now is ranked about the 75th recruiting class in the country. Now, that can change at the end of the season based on, transfers, based on late recruit decommits, etc. But at the same time, as Deion has to build, he's going to lose Shador, he's going to lose Travis Hunter in that period. I think it's going to be very difficult for him to assemble a team that really, truly puts it all together and contends. I think people need to reassign their expectations and say it's a huge success if Deion even gets this team to 9-3 or 10-2 in the next couple of years.
And I think that's with any program, right?
Yeah,
I think that's definitely true. However, what I will say, though, is that I just think the hype is what is going to draw folks, especially through the transfer portal, there. Your point about the recruiting class. I don't think he's putting much emphasis into the recruiting. I think that's harming the numbers. I'd love to know what goes into those actual rankings. The fact that, 52 members of this squad all came off the transfer portal. I mean, this is fundamentally shifting this. So I don't think that's taking into account for any of, this change in philosophy. Again, I just can't echo it enough. I think where you're going to see a dramatic shift because of Deion and Colorado is the lack of will or want out of major programs in the near future to really want to take risk on 3-star candidates or even 4-star candidates out of high school. Why? And we've hit on this before, but why would you take a risk on someone that is much less mature coming out of the high school program that you're really rolling the dice on, that's 19 years old, while you can have a proven quantity, more mature 21-year-old that's coming out of a JUCO?
So what we're saying is anyone who's good at Wyoming is out in a couple of years.
I think this helps Wyoming. We can go to that in another segment. But
it's an you're going to get guys though who are freshmen who are really good, and then they're bouncing.
Yep. Yeah,
it'll be interesting.
Could be. It's going to change the dynamics. I think that's a whole nother segment, definitely for the near future. But for Colorado's purposes, I think this is a huge success. I mean, let's just take their counterpart and rival, long historic rival that doesn't get to play each other very much anymore. Would you rather be Colorado or would you rather be Nebraska?
Well, I would never rather be Nebraska. Let's be honest here. Nebraska, it's a whole different story. I don't know that football program is ever coming back to relevancy. I just don't see it. But whole different situation there. If they can't even get out of the basement of the Big Ten West, they might as well start playing in the Mountain West. Last note here, Dirk. For all of you college kids out there, don't ever wager your trust fund or your tuition on the money line of a game. Let's just put that out there as overall guidance.